Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at the Brick House here in downtown Brooklyn, New York. As you know, here on the Pace Report, I like to introduce you to artists and musicians that are on the cusp of creative and artistic muses that really change as well as shake up how we hear and see things, and tonight is no different. Tonight, Sister Alicia Olatuja is performing music from her debut record, Timeless. And as you might recall, in 2013, she performed with the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, and her solo raised a lot of heads in the music world. In addition to that, this new record really kind of shakes up how she brings world music, jazz, soul, and gospel to the mix, bringing a very soulful and very earth tone nature to this music. We sat down earlier and we talked about the concept of this new record. We talked about her collaborating with her husband Michael, who serves as a co-producer and bassist for this record and music director. And we also talked about her interest of the music starting growing up in St. Louis. As you might know, this sister's also backed the likes of B.B. Winans as well as Shaka Khan, as well as she continues the idiom of the music moving forward by singing and bringing new interpretations to songs like Stevie Wonder, Stay Gold, as well as Human Nature, which was written by the great Michael Jackson. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds and the debut of Alicia Olatuja's brand new record release performance party, performed live here at the Ballroom, here at the Brick House, here in downtown Brooklyn, New York. It's part of the Pace Report. Congratulations on this brand new record, Timeless. And you know, the from what I got from this is I think you're going to bring a whole nother dynamic to the element of soul with jazz, with world music, with a little bit of gospel. And that's okay, because at a time when everything is just underproduced, you and your husband have really taken the bull by the horns and doing a whole cadre of songs on this CD.
Yeah, well, I wanted the album to represent all the different influences I've had in music. You know, growing up, we listened to, of course, gospel music, jazz and soul, R&B. I have a classical degree, so I wanted this album to be my voice, my real voice, what I have to say, and also squeezing out, if you will, of all the different musical genres and influences that I have had over the umbrella or under the umbrella of jazz.
Now, you and your husband have performed and you've recorded under the Olatuja Project. Mm-hmm. Now, this is really you. This is your breakout. I'm here.
Yes, the Olatuja project was kind of like it was a merging of both of our musical influences. So it's everything that I have learned as a vocalist with this instrument, as well as what he also brings, which is jazz, of course, soul, of course, but also that African musical dialects, as well as the musical sensitivities and rhythms and just all that juicy stuff. So that was a collaborative project, whereas this one is my individual voice.
You know, I've noticed now that there's this resurgence of great vocals on the male and female side now. Do you think that now, with music changing, people were really ready for this?
Well, it's almost like ready or not, here we come kind of thing. I think ultimately singers, vocalists, we were ready for that resurgence. And I think supporting one another and pushing each other to deliver and sharpening each other, I think is something that has really helped this new resurgence. You know, all these amazing vocalists that are out and all of us that are pushing forward, I think we're all connected. You know, we're all rooting for each other. And I think that helps when you're trying to create a new wave of vocals on the music scene.
You know, technically, you have the entire Christian McBride trio on this record, and they performed with you for the record release. And you know, I've profiled all of those individuals, Ulysses, Christian, as well as our great pianist Christian Sands, and I think they're bringing some very unique elements to what you're trying to accomplish also. I mean, apart from being amazing musicians, they're also wonderful individuals. And I think when you have people with amazing characters and personalities, and you combine that with the excellence that they bring to their instruments, then you end up getting that magic that happened on the album in their trio and on the album release concert that just happened last week. On that moment long ago, one breath away and there you will be, so young and carefree. Again you will see that place and time so gold. You know, I wanted to ask you because there are 10 songs on this record,
Mm-hmm.
and you. First, I want to say I was blown away when your husband sent me the digital file. The song that stuck out to me the most was, there's two of them, and they're coming from our generation. Stay Gold, which I always remember the movie The Outsiders in the book, and then you do Michael Jackson, Human Nature.
Yep. It's so interesting because in this very room, I actually met with Lawrence Hobgood and did the arrangement of Stay Gold. And I think because the album is called Timeless, and we were talking about, you know, how you experience life in different ways, and you look back on different events in your life and see it from different perspectives depending on where you are in time or where you are in your life. I think the song Stay Gold really captures that the most. Even though all of the songs are in that family of timeless and looking over life and regret and moving forward and all that, Stay Gold is just, it's the perfect song lyrically. And I mean, that gives that perspective of looking over life and seeing things that maybe at the time seemed like they were everything. And now you look back and you're like, oh, I was just a kid. That wasn't, or you don't really appreciate certain moments in life. And then you look back on it and go, wow, you know, those was the good old days, you know, that kind of thing. And I don't think you need to be of any particular age necessarily to have that experience. You know, it could be the difference of a day, depending on what happened in that day, for you to experience life in different ways based on time. And so Stay Gold really, I think, captures that. It's my mom's favorite.
And you know, it's, you know, there's songs that people, I think, I have not heard too many people do renditions of that song. I don't know if it's because Stevie Wonder kind of nailed it in the coffin or people are kind of afraid to touch. That's really a classic now. The song is like over 30 years old now.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times we get the Stevie Wonder anthology, just like we get all these other anthologies of greats, and we stick to those. But I think it's not just about how cool the song is or rather how popular it is. It's about, for me, it's about what is this person saying through this song. And I think, you know, Stevie Wonder is brilliant, but I believe that song has one of the most complex, nostalgic subject matters. And it's a bittersweet in a sense. And I think you have to be pretty intentional, I think, to pick a song like that and to sing it and have it work with whatever set that you're doing. I mean, you can't, it doesn't quite go with, I think, a lot of other musical sets. So maybe people have just, you know, not picked it up because it didn't quite work thematically with what they were doing. But it spoke to me, it spoke to Lawrence, and I just fell in love with it.
You know, we reflect on the genius of Stevie Wonder, and I have to say now, being 2014, he's to soul music on the written side of the songs as what Bob Dylan was to rock and folk.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you can pick up different type of influences that people have had that are timeless in the music world, which is why I chose to do a song by Shaka Khan and a song by Michael Jackson, two people that a lot of times are a little afraid to do redos, but I feel like the direction that we went with the music really made it fresh and really made it my own, even though such iconic figures created it and brought it to the world. So I'm glad to know that that was your second favorite from the album.
It was another thing too. I've interviewed a lot of vocalists and musicians, jazz and soul. And one of the things I'm having a problem with is, and you did it very well, and you said it earlier, it's okay to do contemporary songs from the 70s and 80s
Yes.
and bring them back.
Yeah, well, I think the way people wrote then and the way music, especially vocal music, was appreciated more then really makes sense when you're doing a vocalist type project, you know what I mean, where it's all about the vocals. And that's, I think, that resurgence we were talking about vocalists. We're doing music that not only, has a catchy hook, or not only is from a popular artist, but something that really challenges us to sing, to really open up and to express the emotions necessary to communicate to an audience. And to me, I feel like, music at that time was all about that as well. And I think if you're going to bring back the resurgence of the vocalist, you may want to bring some of those tunes back with you.
one of the things on this record that I think it's very important is that you go into the church. And here's a sidebar to that. Everybody is really got their first whiff of you when you performed with the Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir, and you did that solo for President Obama for the inauguration. Tell me about the beginnings of the church in St. Louis for you.
Wow. Well, I grew up in a church where singing was, very important. It's a lot of my friends who I went to church with, you see on Sunday Best, you see on The Voice, American Idol, like we all kind of came up with in this crop of young singers who got our training ultimately in the church. And I think when you're singing in the church, it gives you your first purpose when you're up there. I mean, at least that's what it should be, is to point to something greater than yourself. And I think when you start singing in the church, it gives you that understanding at a very early age. And I think as artists, media, pictures, photographs, videos, they're all pointing to you. But if you have that upbringing and you have that original understanding of what your purpose is as a vocalist, you're pointing to something else. And I think that was one of the heaviest influences I had, singing and learning my first music pieces in the church and continuing on from there.
Tell me about the first time you and Christian met And, you know, you guys performed Speak the Words together at your record release performance. I just want to know, because there's some great chemistry between you guys, and he seems like he's a great, great mentor to you and your husband.
I mean, somebody with that level of talent, I think even if they've never met you, you know, they're going to be a mentor to anybody who's looking to sharpen their instrument, especially on bass. But I met him about maybe 5 years ago. He was doing a work, The Movement Revisited. I think The Movement Revisited was what it was called then. And it's actually going to be, he's going to be releasing that album pretty soon. And he had me come in and sing the piece that I sang 5 years ago with the Juilliard big band, I believe. And I came in and I sang the song, and I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't understand the lyrics that were being sung by the woman who had sang it at a live performance in Philadelphia. And so I wrote in these like fake lyrics that didn't make any sense. And I remember I was like, you know, nervous, and I was singing, and he busted out laughing like halfway through because I was making up these crazy lyrics. I was like, oh my God, this is like the worst audition I've ever done in my life. But it turned out that he was happy with it, and then after that, it just, you know, we became really good friends. And also working with, you know, one of my closest friends, Ulysses Owens, and Christian Sands, we're always like around each other, even though we're really busy and always traveling. So yeah, it was just great working with him and learning from him, and I love how music brings people together like that.
Who are some of your musical influences? Because like I said earlier, you know, we talked earlier, you know, we're doing R&B, soul, world music. I'm like, I actually, you know, when I listened to the CD, I was tired. I was like, dang, I done been all over the globe in like 60 minutes.
Well, I mean, in the album, I think you can definitely hear some of the people that obviously have made a huge impact on me. You know, Michael Jackson, Chaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, Cerrado, which is the song in Portuguese by Jovan. He's like the Stevie Wonder of Brazil. So he's just an amazing songwriter, and I just love him so much. And you know,
the Manhattan Transfer did the Brazil record. They did a whole album of a lot of his songs. Mm-hmm. You know, he just passed away, but I brought that up. It's funny you brought that up because someone asked me, what are your favorite Manhattan Transfer records? And I said they came out back to back. It was Vocalist and that one, because his music is just so beautiful.
Yeah, he's incredible, and he's a communicator. And that's why. I mean, yeah, it's in Portuguese, but it's interesting. People who don't know what I'm talking about, they're like, for some reason, when he gets to that chorus, I just feel like crying. But like, you know, it's like this sweet but like a sad feeling. And, you know, and the song is saying, the ending, the chorus that they're talking about near the end is saying, you know, I will cry with you. You know, we will come together, and we will, you know, so it has that kind of message in there. And even though people don't even know Portuguese, they're still getting that message through the music. And that's the kind of singers that I love, and also the type of writers that I love. For jazz vocals, one of the most amazing female vocalist that we have right now, of course, is Diane Reeves. And she has not only been an inspiration to me vocally, but personally as well. You know, she was so encouraging, and I got a chance to meet her, and she's just one of those people where their character matches the vibrance of their talent. And that's something that I always look for whenever I'm looking to work with anybody, but also people that I choose to allow to mentor me, or, you know, people that I want to be around and be inspired by, both musically and personally. And I think, for me, they go together.
And Diane is one of those vocalists. I remember when I first bought her first record. And it's strange because where she started is not where she's ended up now. It's amazing where her career's gone. Yeah,
she's a brave vocalist.
Yeah.
And that's something that is inspiring too. You know, you have people who they just kind of stay in this little small corner because they're afraid that if they go this way or go that way, they'll displease somebody. But she has something to say musically, and she's going to say it. And that's something that's inspiring to vocalists, I think, around the world, but especially somebody like me who's been influenced by so many different genres and artists, and you can hear that in what she brings as well. So she's just amazing. Stand and bleed on the water's edge, never knowing where I began. But here I am in a memory,
mean to you?
Jazz music means to me, it's freedom. You know, I've sang other genres, and I've never felt the freedom to have your own voice, improvisation obviously, the freedom that other instrumentalists give to a vocalist as well. That's something that is a beautiful thing. You know, everyone's listening to each other. Everyone's creating something in that moment that will never happen again that exact same way in time. And I believe jazz has the strongest magic for that type of musical creation. And that's what jazz is for me.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at the Ballroom here at the Brick House here in Brooklyn, New York. I'd like to personally thank the talented Alicia Olatuja for her time, as well as the staff and management here at the Ballroom at the Brick House for their warm hospitality. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.